Another call, 580. Hey, this is Dark Waters. Who am I speaking to?
This is D-Doss
What
from
up,
Bdrp.
D? What's up, D Dizzle?
What's going on, Chief?
Nothing, man. Sitting
Man,
smoking cigars, chopping up with people.
Beautiful. I really enjoyed your last caller, bro. Like, he had my opinion different in some places, but he's got it dead on with these spirits that follow these physical creatures around. You know, I've been saying that for years. And they are definitely out there trying to lead people astray. And people leading themselves astray with their itching ears. But if I can give anybody a warning from having done this for 5 years, bro, just like that young man said, don't dive into the spiritual aspect of it, because you may think you're chasing a hominid, unknown Neanderthal or Cro-Magnon. That's not necessarily the case. These things have all sorts of weird spirits all around them.
Well, bro, we've seen it. We've seen it.
Yeah, we have. But so much so, bro, I think, and this is a theory that I have, just from looking at a bunch of footage, and you've seen it too. I don't think the physical creature is making itself invisible. You know what I'm saying? I believe, because there's too many cases where people smack dab in the middle of their right mind encounter one of these physical beasts, and they say it just kind of phases out or disappears right in front of them. I sincerely believe them, but I don't think they inherently, this physical creature has the ability to do that. I think it's these spiritual creatures around them. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's almost like they're working in tandem, or these spirituals, the demons, let's just call them what they are. These demons are shielding these things. From my experience.
I wouldn't disagree, bro. When we ran Dogman cams, if you go back and look at every piece of evidence we captured, where there was a Bigfoot face or there was a video of Bigfoot, irregardless of what the hater said, we captured evidence. If you look in the same picture, there were things in that picture that just looked like it was a demon. We've all seen it. We've all seen it live on the camera. Period. I mean, it's not like what we're saying is far-fetched, because people have seen it live. I mean, there was time when Vault was out there, bro, and we looking at Vault on the camera like, what the hell is that thing over there? He's like, I don't see nothing. You're not Vault. I don't see nothing over there, DW.
Yeah.
Dude, there's something right there, bro. What do you? I don't see nothing. I'm telling you, bro. Yeah, straight up, it's there. So it's not like it's far fetched, because we've got the evidence. I mean, and so when we say that,
you call it a theory.
Yeah, it's
you're right, because it is pretty much. There's multiple just from the Dogman Cams project. You're right. Mm-hmm. There's multiple case studies just within that project itself, not including all these great independent researchers, independent field investigators and stuff that come back, and everybody writes it off because that's why it's not true research. When you omit certain pieces of evidence you find, you're supposed to present everything that you get. And I'm not picking on anybody. I'm just saying in general. I caught myself doing it early on. You're supposed to present every piece of material that you get out there. And a lot of people don't know what to make of this ghostly figure with horns and snake eyes. So they just kind of set it to the side because it was only in 4 or 5 frames of a 30-second piece of footage. You know what I mean? But no, that's important. Why? What is that? And why is it there?
Bro, I think Vault still has his cameras running over there. I know for a fact he sent me pictures back then. He sent me pictures of things that look like gray freaking aliens, all kinds of crazy stuff. Mm-hmm. So it's like, all right, that we know for a fact there's more to it than what we've been discussing, because of the fact that we saw it. Hands down, period. That's all it is to it. So there's no debating it, because we did it live. So there's no debating it. We did it live. So people can have their opinions, and I'm cool with that. But bro, we did it live. And when you talk, for example, if you were to try and poke a holes in it, nobody can say Vault wasn't a good investigator. He went out there, coming out of there with nosebleeds and headaches and sleeping for 3 days.
Absolutely.
So it wasn't like
stayed a lot longer than he should have sometimes.
Yeah, he's a badass investigator. He was out there in them streets doing it. So that wasn't a problem. So there was no holes to poke in that whatsoever. There's no holes you can poke in that project whatsoever when it came to
Nope.
the evidence that was captured, and then the ancillary evidence that was captured. I mean, there's just no hole that you can poke. So, people are gonna have their opinions. A lot of people have opinions, but when it comes to what we do here on the Dark Waters channel, man, I can back it up. I can go find the pictures. I'm pretty sure I can find a picture now where, in fact, let me see if I can find it because I'm pretty sure I still got the photos.
The one that comes to mind. Do you remember the one like? And it was when the cameras captured that massive head of that giant right in between those two trees. Now. You know exactly what I'm talking about then. Like after the show, we were kind of chopping it up and we broke it down, and there was that, for lack of a better word, a devil, a demon. And I mean, it was straight, it was ghastly. You couldn't call it anything but that. This wasn't an anomaly. There was symmetrical features. You know, there was eyes adjacent from one another symmetrically. A nose in between that and a mouth. But those eyes, man, that's like.
Hold on, I remember you were saying that
you found it.
Mm-hmm. Let me see if I can figure out how.
I remember you said that you don't even feel right looking at it, bro. And then I started saying that it gives you a weird feeling.
Let me see. Add image. Browse. So the concept that notion is off base is, to me, is just retarded. Like it's you can tell that to somebody else. You're not gonna be able to tell that to me, bro. I'm sorry. You're not gonna be able to tell that to me.
I try to be pragmatic. You know what I mean? But we know.
Is this it? Because it had. Let's see. Watch.
The good thing is,
all right, I got it on the screen right now. So you got the white box, ladies and gentlemen, where the Bigfoot head is. Vault identified. No, it was Vault and Wendy Wilson who saw this. So that's the head right there in the white box. You see this hooded thing in the red box, and then you see this thing with a symmetrical shape, 2 eyes, a big old head, a nose right there. So it's not like when we talk about this, we don't know what the hell we're talking about because we did it. You know what I'm saying? There you go.
Yeah.
And I've seen it countless times. You see the hooded thing with the red eye, with the glowing eyes, and right there. You see what looks like a hood. You see that, and then, bro, you didn't see that any other time. It was after that you didn't see it anymore. We didn't identify that anymore. Man, so
that's a wicked thing, bro.
Yeah. So, and like I don't. People can say what they want to say, bro. I watched those cameras a lot, and I saw a lot of creepy stuff that was just insane. I'm talking about seeing stuff that when you see it on camera, the atmosphere in your house change. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah.
And so that's how I knew it was something. You know what I'm saying? So it is what it is, bro.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? Homie.
That's the message I'd like to give you, your audience, too. You know, that young man was dead on. Having broken down, and I've told you this before in private, but I'll say it in public because I have nothing to hide, and they need to be aware. If you are looking into the actual field research portion of it, like the camera projects, and you are taking and breaking down footage and trying to see what's in there, and there's astrophysicists and theoretical physicists at the CERN Large Hadron Collider in Geneva, Switzerland, that basically came out and said this same thing. These things aren't, these devils, they're not bound by time and space as a concept that we would understand. There's something else going on with it. And as crazy as it sounds, I'm not the only one. I won't throw no names out there, but when you break down this footage, and I broke it down 60 frames per second, say it's a 10-minute long video, 60 frames per second, you go through all those frames, you're going to catch something if something's there. But the more you pay attention to these things, even in still or digital photos, the more they start paying attention to you. For instance, like that picture of that ugly devil that you got up there, something like that, looking from behind a tree, you can only see half of its face. The more you pay attention to it, the more focus you put on it, it'll become 2 eyes instead of 1. Now, I know that sounds crazy. If you go to the actual CERN website, I think it's under the theoretical physics part of it. There's this professor that explains it perfectly, better than I could. But there's something about time and space that these things are distorting or they're not, they don't adhere to. So I definitely, like you said, the atmosphere in your whole house will change. When you, like some of these ghost shows I watch, or I used to watch, I don't mess with that now. But when they have the EVPs or you see an apparition, like you feel it. That's because you are looking at that thing, whether it was filmed 5 years ago, you're seeing it in real time. So it's animating itself in real time. And that's why you'll hear of a lot of people who watch these ghost shows and who even look at the field research, like I'm talking about, break it down a whole lot. They'll start getting themselves in spiritual jams within their own homes, simply from just paying an overt amount of attention to it.
Bro.
So that's DDoS's public service announcement for the day. Just y'all be super duper careful.
Mm-hmm. And if you're not careful, bro, what'll happen to people is what happened to some other people who decided they were going to go prance around in the woods and I'm looking for Dogman, I'm looking for this, I'm looking for that, and something followed them home. Some people call it the hitchhiker theory. They call it whatever they want, bro. That's why there's a limit to what I'm willing to do and how far I'm willing to go to prove a point. Because at the end of the day, my family's health and mental health is more important than proving a point to anybody. You know what I'm saying? I talked to enough witnesses to know without a shadow of a doubt what's going on, to know that there's more that goes on in those woods. And just from a perspective of the spirit of fear that hits people when they encounter these things, it's literally a spirit of fear. And every spirit is given and every spirit is received. And you can go back to the Bible and see it. When people get spirits, they choose whether they're going to take that spirit onto them or not. And when you choose to open yourself up to that, boy, all hell breaks loose. You know what I'm saying? That's why some people, I give you a perfect example. Let's use Vault of Nightmares. Vault would go his crazy ass out there and walk around and just walk. Because he didn't give to a spirit of fear. So he was the perfect field investigator because he would just go out there and do it. I'm going to go do it. I'm going to go outside right now. No, don't go. I'm going right now. Period. And he was a perfect example of what happens when you don't allow the spirit of fear to fall upon you. And it's just, but people don't understand those spiritual aspects of it, but they want to run out there and do stuff, and they have no freaking clue what they're doing, bro. No clue. No clue.
None whatsoever. And that's the unfortunate part about it. These concepts that a lot of these, like History Channel and Nat Geo, concepts that they put forth about this creature are the information is very slim and incomplete, in my opinion. Because you ask any Native American traditionalist, which, when I started, that's where I got a lot of my information from, and coming back around, even looking at it through a biblical perspective, they were right about a lot of stuff. These things are spirits of some sort. The physical kind maybe as well. I have my own theories about that, as you know, but suffice it to say, if these physical beasts are running around with these demons attached to them or following them or whatever the case is, then they're just as spiritually dangerous as the spiritual creatures themselves, in my opinion. So, yeah, I'd absolutely have a double layer of armor on it. People just think I was crazy when I first started going in the woods, like 5-6 years ago, because I didn't carry a gun or anything. I wasn't afraid of them. They didn't put fear into me whatsoever. And I knew that, and personally, I think they could see them angels walking with them. Yeah, I mean, it had to be something, because they would try to, at the very beginning, project fear. And I'm talking about these physical beasts, you know what I mean? With their little tricks that they would do, because they know that they are fearsome creatures to us. There's no doubt in my mind. But I'm not beholden to their nonsense.
No, I'm with you, and that takes a special kind of faith. I'm not about walking around in the woods with no monsters. You know what I'm saying? I don't need to be testing God like that. I don't need to be testing my faith like that. I know what it is. I ain't about that action. I tell anybody I'm not about that life at all. But if I found my situation where I had to, someone was in danger, then we're gonna walk that out like Usher. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna walk it out. But other than that, I ain't playing around. You know what I'm saying? I'm not messing around.
Yeah. And you know a little bit of inside baseball. Like I now having matured in my faith, I believe there's an absolute reason why the Lord dissected fear from me for that specific purpose. Because everybody who got close would project theories instead of giving that raw data as is. Even though they had legitimate encounters, not everybody, not even most people, but a lot of people, and these people have voices because they got close and they have evidence. But there wasn't and there's still not a lot of people who go out with the intentions like you. Even though you don't go out, you're a purveyor of truth. You're giving people the unfiltered truth, no ice, no chasing. Whether they want it or not, whether they receive it or not, you give it to them. Now it's up to the folks listening whether they can discern truth or not. But going out there, like there wasn't a whole lot of people, if any, talking about the spiritual beings that that coincide with these things. And bro, it's almost every last encounter that I've had, every last photo that I've taken, with the exception of a few. And I mean, just like the picture you have up, that's a phenomenal picture of a Bigfoot's face. The details in it are amazing. That there's no doubt in my mind that that's a Sasquatch or Bigfoot, whatever anybody wants to call it. But yet, and still, you have this other stuff, and some of them just as physical as this Bigfoot. So I mean, you got to decide for yourself where you want to put that. But honestly, bro, I'm ready to get back out there in the field. As you know, like I'll I'll ramble around places that I'm really not supposed to be rambling around just so I can see what's going on with these things.
Bro,
And,
all I can say is tick tock, tick tock. The time is coming. Tick tock, tick tock, tick tock, tick tock. That's all I can say. You know, when I tell you I'm gonna do something, I do it. You know what I'm saying? Tick tock, tick tock,
right?
Tick tock. It's coming.
What do you mean? No, you being mysterious. Like I'm an old dumb country boy. You got to simplify it for me.
Oh no, you gonna go put them other cameras up in the woods that we talked about. So it's coming.
Oh yeah.
Crazy locations.
Yeah, bro. And it's gonna be some prime real estate. Folks are gonna see some. They're gonna see some madness.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna get my sea legs back though. We have an interview coming up with a young lady and a young man who were a part of super duper poltergeist activity. As you know, you kind of helped me out on a portion of it. But for that young man, I didn't get to hear the entirety of everything he was saying, but he probably knows about it. It's the Chickasaw or the Choctaw. They call them either or. I'm sorry, folks, I don't know which. But they call this being the Stigini. And there's another name, which is like 5 syllables that I forget. But the little people. And there's a fantastic researcher. This lady has been she's been out in the field for a long time. She's a native herself, and she shared some of her private stock with me at one point in time, and I don't think I'm telling tales out of school to tell y'all. She had a pretty good picture of one of these little people carrying a Bigfoot, or it looked like it was dragging a Bigfoot. It was complete madness. So I put in your chat, I came to the conclusion, having dealt with those young people out there with that case, that some of this stuff is fallen angels, straight up. You hear the word Nephilim thrown around a lot, but not so much. The fear that I felt in just the air, I mean, it was palpable. They couldn't project fear into me, but it was hung in the air. Like you go to some of these tent revivals down here in the South, Oklahoma, Texas, Louisiana, Missouri. A lot of these places have periodically these tent revivals where the Holy Spirit's just in the air. You can go under that tent, you can feel it. It's tangible. That's how this green-eyed, quote-unquote, little person was. And you were on the phone with me one night when they saw a ton of them in the woods.
Mm-hmm.
And I want them to tell that. But folks, y'all are in for a hell of a ride when these young folks get on here and give their testimony and their story of what was going on their property. Because it was BANANAS.
Yeah, that was crazy, bro. That was, and then the circumstances around all that was crazy. But we ain't gonna get into all that because some of that stuff was personal. But that whole situation was pure and utter insanity.
Yes, it was
pure and utter insanity. And one of the things that the gentleman said that in the last caller said that was very significant when he said, don't be messing around with the supernatural. And I tried to make it clear, you don't defeat any of that in your strength. If you think that you can deal with that on your own, then you are being extremely foolish. I can't explain to you how foolish you're being. Like, you are being foolish, and you're gonna pay a price for it. So don't don't go messing around like that, man. Don't put yourself in a bad spot, a bad situation.
Yeah, situations are pretty easy to fall into, unfortunately, especially if, like you say, you just go in, nonchalantly. But I'm not going to keep up too much of your time. I want to hear some more callers. I just want to call, chop it up with you, and say it's been a phenomenal show. What I've heard of it so far, you got a great audience. Everybody's engaged. I always love seeing that.
No, absolutely. I'm gonna give me a little commercial break real quick. Grab me some water, and we'll be right back, ladies and gentlemen.
Outstanding. Thank you, folks.